Hi, my name is Norman D AMATO. I have been in the aviation industry for the past 45 years. Starting out as a cadet pilot in 1974 with Air Malta and rising up to the post of chief pilot with the same company. Since then, I also joined other airlines, including Emirates, XL UK, and the latest was Ryanair, followed by Malta Air, which is one of the companies of the Ryanair group. I retired from flying in October of 2019, that was last year, and that is because I reached the age of 65. Otherwise, I would not have retired from commercial flying. At the moment, the situation throughout the world is such that aviation has come to a complete standstill, with the exception of companies that deal with cargo and business travel. This was thanks to COVID-19. So the subject today is returning to normal operations. Is there a definition for normal? I mean, as I said, in the last 45 years, aviation has changed completely. Although the basics are still there, many things in aviation have changed. I remember in the olden days flying from Malta to places like Dubai or Abu Dhabi, flying from NDB to NDB. You would find an NDB every 400 miles and hoping that you remain on track. Today, where aviation has all the latest gadgets in the cockpit and with the help of autopilots and GPS and INS and other forms of navigation, you are accurate to within a few hundred meters from the position that you want to be in. So what is the normal? Yesterday was yesterday and tomorrow will be different from today. Over the past 5 decades especially, aviation has changed the world and made it a much smaller place. People living in Europe or maybe North America would easily travel to faraway distant places such as China, Asia, Australia, to go on holidays for Christmas and the New Year, and vice versa. As incomes increased, the cost of travel decreased. And air transport became safer, more efficient, and comfortable. Tourism and the hospitality industries boomed, and the majority of countries took advantage of this to boost their gross domestic product, their GDP. It was perhaps fortunate for the rest of the world and unfortunate for China that the pandemic took turns, starting with China and Asia and then moving to Europe, followed by the Americas and Africa. This gave some breathing space to scientists and the medical profession to observe and learn more about the virus and to share this information. Unfortunately, to date, over 8 million people contracted the virus, with over 440,000 deaths. Still, we are no closer to treatment or vaccine. Is it over? It is very difficult to forecast, and economists, medical profession are very wary in predicting what will happen tomorrow or the day after. However, what the world has definitely learned is that by shutting down commercial activities, the world came to a standstill. And unless these are reopened, development, bankruptcies, unemployment, poverty, mental illness and suicides will follow. In fact, at the moment, Europe has announced that this month it has asked European countries to open their borders. Places like China have done this ahead of Europe, and other countries are following suit. Just to give you a quick idea, China is predicting a 7% contraction of its economy this year. The US is predicting a contraction of 40% in the second quarter of 2020. The International Monetary Fund has predicted that the global GDP will contract by 3% this year, compared to the pre-pandemic predictions of a 3.3% expansion. Millions have lost their employment, and in aviation, thousands of pilots and other airline staff, air traffic control, tourism, hospitality industries have either been furloughed or laid off. This crisis is perhaps unprecedented since the end of World War II, and governments are now budgeting billions to restart the economies. Returning to aviation, we can also take the approach of wait and see. However, many airlines have opted to go for huge redundancies to survive, and we have seen thousands of personnel laid off or furloughed. Judging from the situation in China, necessary business travel is quickly rebounding. However, consumption travel, such as tourism, has not recovered as quickly. IATA is forecasting that in 2021, global passenger traffic would be between 32 and 41% lower than the pre-pandemic levels of 2019. This results from the uncertainty and the increase in unemployment. As an example, Eurocontrol on the 10th of June of this year, 2020, had 7,232 flights. That is a reduction of almost 80% on the same day in 2019. There are still too many variables to make accurate predictions. Will we find a cure or a vaccine for COVID-19? Once the borders reopen, will we witness economic wars, trade wars between countries such as the United States and China, or the United States and Europe? Will taxes on importation increase in the national interest? How long will it take for the economy to recover? Will the industries be rehiring personnel anytime soon and increase their workforce, thus reducing unemployment and boosting economic activity? How long will it take tourism to pick up to pre-pandemic levels? This is a time for all players to be proactive. Individuals such as you and I, airlines, air traffic services, aircraft manufacturers, tourism and the hospitality industry are already gearing up and preparing to resume their activities, improving on past methods to eliminate infections and improve efficiency and customer confidence. That is the key, customer confidence. Our customers are the passengers and we need to regain their confidence. ICAO, IASA, IATA, the European Union and many governments are trying to facilitate restarting the economic activity at the earliest because national economies will collapse, providing guidelines and in many instances financial packages to help the operators. Air traffic services will be playing a key role in ensuring a smooth return to increased traffic figures and to take advantage of the reduction from pre-pandemic traffic to be more efficient and better prepared, having enough trained personnel to cope with the sudden rise in traffic. Air traffic services will need to train or retrain personnel, especially if these were laid off, worked reduced hours, or were sent on unpaid leave. Equipment enhancement, replacement, and maintenance needs to be optimized to ensure minimal disruption. Industrial relations must be improved to avoid instances like we had in the past of industrial action and to gain the confidence of our customers. Slot delays need to be reduced to the minimum possible. With the increase in unemployment and pandemic-related uncertainties, prolonged stress has affected us all, be it in air traffic services, airlines, airports, the hospitality industry, and throughout humanity. Many have encountered a sharp increase in stress as a result of a decrease in incomes, children out of school, unable to visit loved ones, deaths of relatives, losing homes because people could not meet mortgage repayments, delayed or cancelled holidays, and many more. This situation is very similar to the post-war era, where the situation was very fluid, and even though the hopes were high, people were reluctant to spend money. I have high hopes because I know that humanity cannot afford to fail. Let us bring down the barriers that divide us and treat each other with respect and compassion. Currently, I am working at the Civil Aviation Directorate of Transport Malta, that is for the regulator. And over the past weeks and months, we have been working with operators to make sure that they can keep flying. Many operators have been carrying critical supplies such as medical equipment, medicines, groceries to various countries, and some have even been able to carry cargo in the passenger cabin because they were not carrying passengers. We at the various authorities, in conjunction with IASA, were coordinating our efforts to make sure that operators can operate and support the various countries in their endeavors to fight the pandemic and to bring necessary supplies to their citizens. If I dare to make predictions, I hope that the second half of the year will see increased spending compared to the second quarter, when many countries were in total lockdown. However, we must remember that many have lost their job or had a reduction in income. On the other hand, consumers were unable to spend their money in the first half of this year. And in many economies, savings have increased drastically. By the indications that we are getting from the medical profession, it also seems that before the end of the year, we may have a vaccine that is rolled out in Europe and around the world. If this is the case, by 2022, consumer confidence will return and the aviation industry will return to the pre-pandemic normal, and growth will return. Many people are now longing to travel, be it for business or pleasure, or a combination of both. This all depends on the progress of eliminating the COVID threat and reoccurrences of the threat in various countries and continents. A new normal will emerge. Times will change, as they have always done throughout human history. And I hope to see that the new normal will be even better than the old. Perhaps in the new normality we will also do our best to safeguard the environment and Mother Earth for generations to follow. We may also see older aircraft models being retired to operate more efficient aircraft such as the Airbus Neo, the Boeing 787 and the Boeing 737 MAX. In the meantime, all we can do is train, acquire new skills and prepare for a better future. There are many online training programs that resulted from the pandemic. Pilots, cabin crew, inspectors have all been working from home, doing as much as is possible. As an example, operators needed exemptions to carry urgent medical supplies, which I mentioned earlier. And IASA and the authorities did their utter best to accommodate them. Many operators also took part in repatriation of citizens to their country of origin, or to carry COVID patients to their country of origin or to hospitals that have extra capacity. Operators had to interrupt their practical training, such as simulator training for pilots, air traffic controllers, and other personnel such as cabin crew, and therefore needed clear exemptions to ensure that once the pandemic eases, operators can resume safe operation. Many airlines are currently retraining their personnel. I mean, only yesterday I know that companies like Malta Air took their staff to Stansted for simulator retraining, so that once Malta opens up on the 1st of July, they can safely and confidently return to normal operations. The European borders are opening up, and it is also up to us to do our best to make sure that first of all we help in reducing the spread of the COVID pandemic, and also to boost confidence and encourage our customers to go back to spending their money and to traveling with airlines. Thank you very much. I hope you found this interesting, and look forward perhaps we can also organize a webinar for the future. Thank you.